Welcome into the Ravens Rundown by Chad Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. has his final draft grades for all 32 teams. We'll tell you what the Ravens grade is and break it down for you and share our reactions to what Mel had to say coming up in a matter of moments. Before we do, little challenge out there, folks. We want you to not only subscribe to the channel, but turn on notifications as well. This past week, had a nice week on the channel. Picked up over 200 subscribers. But I feel like this week we can do even better than that. So if you want news and rumors segments about your favorite team, as we also bring you live shows from time to time, we're talking OTAs, mini camp, training camp, and more, trades, free agency. If you're a diehard Baltimore Ravens fan, this is the channel for you. So stop whatever you're doing. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Let's beat last week's number. I believe we can do it. Prove me that you can, and we'll get started with today's show. So Mel Kiper of ESPN just completed, I believe it was his 40th draft ever, which is just remarkable. And we all know Mel's a Baltimore guy, a Ravens guy, and he had some interesting things to say about the Ravens draft, mostly positive, and we'll show you that. Let's start with what Mel said the Ravens needed going into the draft. Corner, wide receiver, outside linebacker, defensive tackle, and quarterback. Now, he said the quarterback thing, obviously, before the Lamar deal went down when it did on Thursday afternoon, but that's at least what Mel said the Ravens needed to take care of heading into this draft. The Ravens draft picks include Flowers in the first round at 22, Simpson at 86, no second-round pick for Baltimore. Then Robinson, the edge rusher for Ole Miss, at 124. And then Kelly, the corner from Stanford, at 157. And then the final two picks of the draft, the Ravens went offensive guard with both picks, with SAL from Oregon at the 199 pick, and then Voorhees, the offensive guard from USC, at 229. So before we show you Mel's grade, here's your chance to be the judge here on the Ravens Rundown. Grade the draft for me. How do you think the Ravens did with the picks that they made? Let us know in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F, what you think of the Ravens picks in the 2023 draft. So Mel's grade was a B+ for Baltimore, and in particular, Mel really liked what the Ravens did with Zay Flowers at number 22 overall, giving a weapon for Lamar Jackson. Here's more from what Mel had to say. Baltimore's best move on Thursday, signing Lamar Jackson to a long-term deal, of course. Everything else was overshadowed by the news that the quarterback would be back. And still, getting my top-rated wideout, Zay Flowers at 22, a few hours later, had to have made Jackson even more happy. Ravens receivers caught just 7 touchdown passes all of last season, and general manager Eric DeCosta has now added Flowers and Odell Beckham Jr. to the depth chart. Flowers will make plays out of the slot, but he can line up outside too. He can break tackles or run by defensive backs. This is an awesome addition. And think about this. You know, as I read you guys in the comments section over the last couple months, once the season ended, we were talking about the additions that the Ravens needed to make and who they could possibly be interested in. And time after time, I kept hearing from different folks among the flock say, well, the Ravens just don't spend money on receiver, or they don't prioritize it. That's not just how the Ravens operate. And Eric DeCosta sent a message to the rest of not only the flock, but really the entire NFL this offseason with what they did at the receiver position, with getting OBJ, with getting Nelson Aguilar, and now Zay Flowers, in addition to already having Rashad Bateman as well, who should be healthy for this upcoming year. Look at what Zay Flowers did. Think about it, Boston College, okay? Not necessarily a football factory, if we're being honest here, okay? The talent around him was not that good. At quarterback, the other receivers, and Zay Flowers still put up nearly 1,100 yards, close to 14 yards of reception, 12 touchdowns, 78 catches. Zay Flowers was that dude. And I have every reason to think that Zay Flowers is going to have an immediate impact on this Ravens team and make a difference in this offense. And Lamar and company should be very, very happy about this addition of Zay Flowers as far as I'm concerned. Who was the Ravens' best draft pick? Was it Zay Flowers? Was it Trenton Simpson or someone else? Let us know in the comment section who you think that was. Give me one name who you believe was the Ravens' best draft pick in 2023. Speaking of Zay Flowers, you saw on draft night when Roger Goodell called his name on stage, and he was holding the jersey you're seeing on your screen right now, the purple 1 Flowers jersey. Well, you're in luck. We're selling that jersey right now at chatsports.com/Ravens jersey, along with other Ravens jerseys you may be interested in. And what's so cool about this is that the jersey that he showed off on draft night, that was specific just for the draft and draft night. It is a commemorative jersey of sorts, okay? So you have a chance to get yours now while supplies last, whether you want to wear it or you want to put it on display in the man cave, whatever it may be. This is a very short time that we're going to be offering these type of rookie jerseys. Get yours now, chatsports.com/Ravens jersey. Don't need to wait for anything. Just go ahead and get yours now. You'll be glad you did. Your chance to get that Zay Flowers draft jersey. More from Mel. Trenton Simpson at 86 could be a steal. I had him ranked number 35 on my board. He can play on third downs and stick to tight ends in coverage. This pick might be an admission that Patrick Queen hasn't quite worked out since being taken in the first round in 2020. And we heard the reports, obviously, that the Ravens were not taking Patrick Queen's fifth-year option. Cornerback Kyu Blu Kelly at 157 was a value on my board. I like the stash pick of guard Andrew Voorhees at 229, who will likely set out all of 2023 after a recent knee injury. He would have been a second or third rounder without the injury. DeCosta didn't do his usual wheeling and dealing with trades this weekend, but he landed a nice class headlined by my guy Flowers. Now, I'll say this as we're kind of wrapping up here. The head scratcher of this draft for me, as what Mel talks about, was waiting a long time for a corner, waiting to the 5th round. Outside of the receiver position, we talked about it many times on this program previously, that the corner position was the biggest need for the Ravens. It was definitely the biggest need on the defensive side of the ball. And they waited a long time. Now, I mean, maybe Kelly's going to step up and be that dude. I mean, we saw Tariq Woolen with the Seahawks last year as a 5th-round pick turn out to be one of the best corners in the entire league as a rookie. So maybe they see some value in Kelly potentially there with that pick. But with that said, I would have liked to seen the Ravens find a way to get a corner earlier than they did in the 5th round. But nonetheless, overall, I like what they did. Trenton Simpson was not expected to be available when the Ravens picked him in the 3rd round. There's some good value in Trenton Simpson. 72 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. And, you know, you could potentially move on from Patrick Queen, get a pick out of it, and go with Trenton Simpson as your guy going forward. And then Andrew Voorhees likely won't play this upcoming season with the injury he suffered in the pre-draft workouts. But you talk about value, he's got an overall 82 grade, 80.1 pass block, 82.5 run block grade. Watch out. I mean, you look at this Ravens team, Ben Powers is gone now. Ben Cleveland's expected to step up into that role. Give Voorhees a whole year or so to fully recover and watch out. We might be talking about him as a full-time starter on the Ravens offensive line come 2024. I think that's realistic here. I think there was nice value. You had to trade a 6th-round pick next year to get him in the 7th, but honestly, with where he grades out the expectations, I would guess that it's going to be worth it. What was the worst pick the Ravens made? Be a little critical, okay? Be honest with me. Tell me what the worst pick Baltimore made in the comments section was. Let me know. Hit me up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Baltimore Ravens there, and I will see you next time here on the Ravens Rundown. Thanks for joining us.